Welcome to my official picks and predictions for the second round of the college football playoffs. I went 4-0 predicting the first round playoff game, so I'm looking forward to see how I can do predicting the second round games and keep my undefeated streak alive. So in this video, I'm going to predict every quarterfinals matchup and I will give my prediction for the scores as well as the spreads and the over-unders. Now let's start off with the game on December 31st at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time between the 3 seed Boise State and the 6 seed Penn State. I'm looking forward to this matchup. How will that Boise State offensive line fare against that Penn State defensive line? Because we know Boise State has one of the best running backs in the nation. But if that Boise State offensive line can't handle the pressure from that Penn State defensive line, they could have trouble. We saw how dominant Penn State's defense was against SMU. They absolutely dominated them and shut them out. And that was even with a bad performance from that Penn State offense. Drew Allar hardly passed for over 100 yards against SMU, and the offense didn't play as good as it did against Oregon. I really like this Penn State team. I think they could be a lot better than people think they are. They always lose the big games. They lost to Oregon and Ohio State this year, but this team has been finding ways to win games both offensively and defensively. And it is very obvious that Penn State is way more explosive on offense in 2024, and they have improved drastically this year on offense with the new offensive coordinator. Drew Allar has stepped into his comfort zone and made some good throws this year. And they have an elite caliber tight end in Tyler Warren who has over 1,000 receiving yards as a tight end with 6 touchdowns. But Penn State will also be going up against Ashton Jeanty, the best running back in the country and maybe the best player in the country. He's ran for 2,500 yards and 29 touchdowns this year. Boise State is going to feed him the ball in this game, but if Penn State can contain Ashton Jeanty, Boise State is going to have a very hard time. When teams find a way to take away Ashton Jeanty, Boise State has struggled. So a guy that really needs to make some plays in this game is Cameron Camper, the Boise State wide receiver. Because I can tell you certainly this game is not going to be won alone by Ashton Jeanty at running back for Boise State. Boise State's defense also needs to step up in this game. They have held their last 5 opponents to 21 points or less, and they've been dominant on defense, especially in the Mountain West Championship game against UNLV. Some people think Boise State could run the ball and control the clock and possibly keep this game close, but I really can't take Boise State in this game. I think Penn State has too much offensive firepower, and I think that Boise State defense is going to have too much trouble stopping Penn State. Penn State didn't have their best performance against SMU, but I think SMU has a better defense than Boise State. And I think Penn State is going to bounce back and have a good offensive performance. And I just don't think Ashton Jeanty will be able to run all over that Penn State defense. It would be awesome to see an upset in the quarterfinals. I really hope this game is closer than I expect it to be. But personally, I like Penn State to win this game 38-20. I think they will cover and I have the over. I'm just not expecting a super close game. Boise State doesn't have a lot of firepower outside of Ashton Jeanty. The next game is on Wednesday, January 1st, the new year at 1 p.m. Eastern Time between the 4 seed Arizona State and the 5 seed Texas. Look, I think this is going to be a very similar story to the game I just talked about. I do think Arizona State has a better team around Cam Scatterbo than Boise State does have around Ashton Jeanty. I think Arizona State is a young team and they've been playing their best football lately. They have a good young quarterback in Sam Levitt and they have one of the best receivers in the country. Jordan Tyson is an extremely underrated receiver. He has been a huge focal point to this offense. He's had over 1,000 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns. Look, this Arizona State offense has the pieces necessary to possibly make a run. If there is any team that could pull off the upset in the second round, it could be Arizona State. Cam Scatterbo is a very good running back, but Texas has one of the best front sevens in the nation. I do see Arizona State being able to put up some points in this game, but I also don't have that much faith in that Arizona State defense. I know they've been getting better lately, but the competition they have faced has been nothing compared to the competition Texas has faced lately. If Texas's offense didn't have that game they had against Clemson, maybe Arizona State could keep this game closer. But I think Texas is really starting to get their offense going. Quinn Ewers is coming off of injury, and he's playing a lot better now. And they really had a great game running the ball in the last game. They ran for nearly 300 yards against Clemson, and that was a huge positive for this Texas team who has struggled to run the ball against good defensive teams. But I don't expect Arizona State to be able to stop that Texas offense. So I am not taking the upset again. I have to stick with my gut and make the right decision. I do think Texas will win this game 34-21, but I am going to take Arizona State to cover. I do think they could sneak a cover in this game. I think they are a good football team, but I think Texas will be too much for them, and I have the over. So I am expecting those first two playoff games to be more lopsided. But let's move on to a game I am very excited for, and this game should certainly be close. We have the 1 seed Oregon playing the 8 seed Ohio State in the Rose Bowl at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And this game will also be played on January 1st, the new year. There are so many matchups to look forward to in this game. I think this could be a game of the most talented roster in the country being Ohio State versus the most consistent and best team in the country in Oregon. Oregon has been super consistent this year. They're very good on both sides of the ball. They found ways to win games offensively and defensively, and they are the only remaining undefeated team left in the country, and that's not very easy to do. Ohio State absolutely torched Tennessee. Tennessee really didn't play their best game, and Ohio State absolutely torched that Tennessee secondary. I knew Tennessee had some concerns in the secondary. Tennessee has had one of the best front sevens all year, but their secondary has struggled at times, and it showed in this game against Ohio State. When Ohio State has a good game plan and they are slinging the ball deep and actually passing the ball, they can be very dangerous. I think this team has one of the best passing attacks in the nation. And when they're playing their best football, they just might be the best team in the country. They are very talented. They have a great group of running backs with Judkins and Henderson. They both had a good game against Tennessee. But a guy that is going to be a game changer in this game is wide receiver Jeremiah Smith. Oregon has one of the best secondaries in the country, but Jeremiah Smith is a very tall and talented receiver, and Oregon's secondary is kind of small. So Jeremiah Smith needs to be the X factor on that offense, and Ohio State really needs to get the ball to him if they want a shot at getting their revenge and beating Oregon. I could really see this game going either way. It's hard to beat a team twice. The winner of this game could easily go on and win the national championship. Maybe this is the real national championship game. It's unfortunate that the loser of this game is going to get eliminated very early, because I honestly think these are the two best teams in the country when they are playing their best football. I am going to stick with Oregon to win this game. I know Ohio State just came off of a dominant performance against Tennessee, but can they stay that consistent? I really don't know. And I am taking Oregon quarterback Dillon Gabriel over Ohio State quarterback Will Howard. The last time Oregon played Ohio State, they didn't have their best defensive player in Jordan Burch, and he will be healthy and ready for this game. Oregon also left off 12 points on the board last time. And honestly, I still think Oregon is the best team in the country and the more complete team in the country. They are well rested and they are going to be healthy for this game, and I don't think they are going to leave any dumb points off of the board. They need to win this game. This is a big game for Dan Lanning. It's also a big game for Ohio State, but like I said, I'm taking Dillon Gabriel, Oregon quarterback, over Ohio State quarterback Will Howard. I think the quarterback play for Oregon will be the difference in this game. So give me Oregon to get it done in a shootout. I think they win this game 38-35. I think they cover the spread and win this game, and I have the over. And now we move on to the Sugar Bowl. This game will be played on January 1st at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time between the 7 seed Notre Dame and the 2 seed Georgia. Just like the Ohio State-Oregon game, this is a very crucial and important game. These two teams have so much on the line. Notre Dame has so much to prove in this game. They are trying to get back to being an elite contender, and people are really not taking them seriously because of that NIU loss. But this Notre Dame team has been different this season. They have had the largest margin of victory in the country, and the playoff is absolutely wide open. Notre Dame has a realistic chance to make the Natty and maybe even win the whole thing, which they haven't done in a very long time. Georgia, on the other hand, they have their backs against the wall. They lost their quarterback in Carson Beck. He will not be playing in this game. And Kirby Smart is trying to make it back to the national championship game. Georgia has had their ups and downs, and they faced adversity this year with a brutal schedule. But they are rested for this game and ready to bring it to Notre Dame. Who do I take in this game? I've said it for a majority of this season. Notre Dame is one of the most slept-on teams in the nation. I really don't think Georgia has the offensive firepower to beat Notre Dame in this game. Georgia's run defense has struggled at times this year. I think Notre Dame finds a way to run the ball, and I think Riley Leonard can do enough in the passing game. If Georgia can take away that Notre Dame rushing attack and make Riley Leonard pass the ball, Georgia will definitely win this game. I expect this to be a low-scoring battle, but I don't see Georgia scoring a lot of points without Carson Beck. And Notre Dame is playing their best defensive football right now. They got one of their best defensive linemen back. They are really good up front, and they have one of the best safeties in the country with Xavier Watts in the secondary. This is a very well-balanced Notre Dame team. The only area of weakness I would say is the passing game, but they are even getting better there. Jordan Faison is a great receiver, and he's stepped up for this team. So they aren't really bad in the passing game, they're just good. Notre Dame is an all-around good team. They might not be super talented, but they are good, and I think they can grind out a win against this Georgia team. I don't trust Georgia without Carson Beck, while I trust Notre Dame because they are playing great football lately. I think this Notre Dame team is in this together. I think they win this game 27-20 and cover the spread, and I have the over. But anyways, there you have it. Those are my predictions for the quarterfinals of the playoffs. I will also do separate predictions for the semifinal games after the quarterfinal games have been played. So definitely tune into this channel for more. Now let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel because we upload a ton of college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing. And also consider checking out my socials down in the description below. But that is going to do it, guys, and peace out.